This is a family about which there's been a lot written, a lot said. They've not always been on the same page. In fact, there were, a number of times when they were famously not singing off the same sheet of music. But today I thought they really were, and I thought that was great. There can be some discussion about whether or not Michael Jackson, who deliberately fed stories about himself to the tabloids, really was as persecuted as some people would have you believe. But I was struck by how the family really sort of seemed to be speaking with the same voice. And there's almost no family in America that has as many people claiming to speak for it, as many official spokesmen. There's a new one, every couple of days in the world of Michael Jackson. I thought that Brooke Shields was somebody who you could clearly tell from the way she was talking about him, from the anecdotes that she cited. She was somebody who really did know him. There's a lot of people out there who claim to know him, but clearly she really did. I thought that was tremendously poignant.
Yeah, I agree, and as Lester Holt put it, a very humanizing moment in today's proceedings. Josh Minkowitz, good points all. Thanks for being a part of this. Mike Taibbi has had a moment to talk to some of the people who are filing out now. We had a prayer at the very end of the service. Mike, you're down in the crowd apparently.
Yeah, Brian, just before this started, after 10 o'clock, which was supposed to be the start time, I looked back at the Staples and there were people running for the entrance, and among them were TJ and Cheryl, who are Los Angelinos. You guys were late, but you made it. What did you think? TJ, what did you think of it?
You know what? It was a great, great show. I think that a lot of the people there touched a lot of things about Michael Jackson, being the greatest entertainer, being very charitable, with all his donations and just healing the world. I thought it was a very, very good performance.
Yeah, that was the first really big, huge round of applause when it was said that he was the greatest entertainer ever in the history of the world. I think everybody in that place agreed with that. The one thing everybody could be absolutely sure of.
That's true. You know what? I'm glad I was able to come today because it was actually a great, great show. The performances were really good. I was saddened. I even shedded a tear when Jermaine got up and sung his song "Smile." It just kind of brought a tear to my eye. But the whole performance was really great.
Cheryl, there was a lot of that kind of subdued recognition of the backstory, that there's a terrible loss here, not just something to celebrate, not just all-out celebration because of a famous pop star passed by, but a really longing for him and a sadness that he's gone.
I think really what people are thinking, Michael was a part of everyone's life. People grew up with him, and I just think they adopted him as their own family member. And knowing that, he was a pop star, king of pop, but I think people just treated him as a family member. So I think that's why so many people are touched.
All right, great. Well, thanks for stopping by, Cheryl and TJ. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Fans piling out right now from the Staples Center. A lot of them, and as we said before, somewhat subdued crowd, but everybody really thrilled that they were able to be here. Brian?
Our thanks to them as well, and to you, Mike Taibbi, who's out here just behind us. The sea of people, a great sea of people coming out of this arena inside. We tried to get there. We can get there now. NBC's Lee Cowan, who was inside for all of it. Lee?
Brian, I think folks are just starting to file out now. You might be able to see behind me. The only thing left now on the stage is just a single mic with a spotlight on it all by itself on the stage. I think what was really struck the people here is sort of the roller coaster of emotions that this crowd went through. Sometimes they were on their feet, they were clapping, they were singing along with the music, and then just a few moments later would be back in their chairs in a moment of silence, and then a couple moments after that they'd be laughing. I think that that moment with Magic Johnson talking about the Kentucky Fried Chicken and how much Michael Jackson loved that for dinner came at the perfect time, because it was a tough couple of moments there, and that hit the perfect note. I think the other thing really is as Josh alluded to, the fact that this all came off so quickly, and apparently it seems without any hitch. This was certainly not a rudimentary production. There was a lot going into this, and the fact that they pulled it all together so quickly and it came off the way it did, I think really is a testament to the promoters here and also to the Jackson family in the midst of everything else that they had going on. To be able to pull this kind of public memorial together is really a testament to them. Brian?
Lee Cowan inside the Staples Center here in Los Angeles. And Lester, it was such an interesting point that Josh Minkowitz raised. This had to just work. And it did. In the eyes of most watching, it was a dignified, well-organized show.
Absolutely, and there wasn't a lot of big production here. It was people speaking from their heart and singing from their heart. But, we've talked about what happened in there. To me, what I'll remember perhaps most of this day is not just that, but watching people with their hands up in the air in New York City, in London, swaying to "We Are the World," a song that Michael Jackson wrote with Lionel Richie. And you multiply that across what might have been happening in the 36 theaters around the country, other parts of the world where people were united in this moment to celebrate one life. There are very few people who will walk across this earth who will have that power, that magnetism, and draw that many people together.
And what we were doing here today is noting this moment, this surge, and this remembrance of these deeply held memories, deeply held affection by a huge slice of the American population, the world population. I just heard fire sirens go by. Life goes on. The crowd's coming out. The LAFD is responding to something nearby. Do you think as time passes, days, weeks, months, years, the look back at Michael Jackson fuzzes up the bad a little bit, becomes more affectionate, more about his music, less about all the freakish things, the physical appearance, the personal behavior we all know well?
Sure it does, because I think the tabloid nature of this story, that part has it has a limit. It will end, but the music goes on. Before Michael Jackson died, you go to a bar mitzvah, a wedding, any kind of party, and before long there comes a Michael Jackson record on. That's not going to stop, and that's what we'll remember. I think, the other things don't go away, but the coverage will settle down and the music lasts.
And you, I assume, join me in noting that the tone in at least some of the remarks, kind of defensive in advance of some of the criticisms they might hear.
Yeah, and that's been the battle. I mean, you and I have interviewed several people along the way over the last couple of weeks who say, well, you should only concentrate on the music.
Right.
Well, that's not our job. Obviously, we have to cover all aspects of what made him famous, and in some cases, infamous.
Well, that's going to do it for our coverage here at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. We will have a full wrap-up of this, of course, and the other day's news tonight on NBC Nightly News from our Los Angeles bureau. Continuing coverage now goes on MSNBC on cable and MSNBC.com, where you can share your thoughts, continue to, about what we've witnessed here today. We will also be airing a special edition of Dateline. That's tonight at 10/9 Central. That'll be anchored by my colleague Lester Holt. And on behalf of Lester and our entire staff here, we want to leave you now with one of the more memorable performances of Michael Jackson's own song, I'll Be There, as we saw it displayed here on stage at the Staples Center behind us. So on behalf of our entire team here, I'm Brian Williams. Thank you for being with us.